G'day legends, Mod from Mod's Scale Models. Welcome back to the bench. What are we doing today? Today, we're going to go through 2K clear. Yeah. All right. Hobby 2-pack clear, 2K clear. It's got a few names. But we're going to go into that today. We're not going to go too technical, but we're going to go into it, right? Because I do believe there's some people out there that are a little scared to use it. And there are some safety precautions that you need to adhere to, and I'll get into them a bit later because it's got isocyanates, okay, which help harden the clear, okay? So let's crack on. Right. 2K clear. Yeah. It's made up of 3 parts, okay? The first part being your clear. Your second part being your hardener. And your third part being your thinner or reducer, okay? I'll get rid of this crap. That's predominantly what you need to get a 2K finish, right? Now, 2K clear, why use it? Look, on your scale models, it will give you that high gloss, real automotive paint look. Okay? Pretty simple. As opposed to acrylic clear, which is, I've said before in other videos, the difference between, say, the 2K clear and the acrylic clear. The 2K clear is a little more forgiving, but I believe this is easier to paint, providing you have the right airbrush setup. You'll get the results. All right. So that's the clear. Now, the hardener, what is it, and what does it do, right? What it does, it activates the clear and makes it cure rock hard, all right? Now, there's some things like I've just got my little notes over here from the model paint company, okay? That's the clear I'm using at the moment, okay? So when you order a complete set, you get your instructions and it shows you and, gives you your safety data and all that sort of stuff, okay? I recommend going complete sets where possible, okay? Because once you open this stuff, it's got a shelf life, all right? Now, I don't for the life of me remember what the shelf life is, but I'll write it here when I find out what the shelf life is for this particular product, right? Your thinners will last longer, but these two do have a shelf life. And I recommend if you're new to 2K'ing, just go the sets, all right? Go the sets. Don't go mixing and matching. In the automotive world where I came from, as an automotive refinisher, we never mixed brands. Predominantly never mixed brands, all right? You can mix brands, but the world I came from, that affected your warranties, okay? So we always painted brand products all the way through, from primers, edge primers, to high builds, to solid coats, base coats, clear coats, and thinners, all the one brand, okay? So it didn't affect our warranties. So we painted a lot of upmarket vehicles and we didn't want to lose our warranties, right? In the hobby world, there's no reason why you're not going to get warranties. I don't think so. I mean, you might, but I think probably user error would probably play a part if you're not getting this right. Okay, so buy the packages off your paint supplier. You'll get a data sheet. It'll give you, particularly with the model paint company, it gives you a quick guide, which is just there, all right? Because they're a 4-to-1 ratio, okay? A little bit different from other brands. Other brands are 2-to-1. These guys run a 4-to-1. So, they are slightly different. So you don't want to go mixing products. That's what I'm saying. look, you want to do it the best way and the most efficient way and cost-effective way, I suppose, and because, yeah, you just want to get it right. Because you're at this stage where, you want to get it right, and if you follow it by the book, you'll get the results, okay, with technique and some practice. Right, so what else do we talk about? Mixing ratios, which we've just covered, particularly these two, Part A, Part B, right, which is on a 4-to-1 ratio. Now, thinners, this is a good one. Depends on where you live, temperatures, all that stuff. The ideal temperature for spraying 2K clear is, like most of the paints, 22 degrees. That's your ideal. If you don't have that, then you need to compensate and move around a bit. If it's a bit warmer, you can put a little bit more thinner in. And if it's a bit cooler, you still got to be careful about reducing your thinner, because particularly with this setup, it's 5%. Okay, 5% reducer. You might want a little bit more, but I wouldn't go too much more, because you want the build and you want the gloss. And, if you need to rub it back and polish it for whatever reason, you don't want it too thin, the Part A. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I am flying over. I'm trying not to be too technical for you guys. Right, what else do we know? They say there's no need, particularly with this brand, there's no need for a tack coat. Look, my experiences as an automotive refinisher don't necessarily agree with that. Some base coat metallics, pearl coats, I like to just put down a tack coat, just to hold everything and settle everything, because you don't want any metallic floating if your drying times haven't completely dried out. And I think my experience, if you put a little tack coat on, it gives you a little security. All right, look, you don't have to. You can just go for it. 2 coats, bang. If you're going to be polishing it, I'd go 3 coats, even 4 coats if you're really going to face that back and polish it. Like I'm doing with the Fat Boy, I'm giving that plenty, because I'm going to be rubbing the Fajibas out of that and polishing it. So I want to make sure I don't rub through, okay, because that would be a disaster. So, right, drying times. For this particular product, 20 degrees, dust-free 10 minutes. So dust-free 10 minutes. So look, if you get that dust-free, you can use your little brush, all right? Dust-free. I'd be waiting longer than 10 minutes. If you want to maybe just give it a little, yeah. But 10 minutes, and she's dust-free in 10 minutes. Tack-free, 30 minutes. So tack-free, 30 minutes, that would be, sorry, I probably misled you a bit. Tack-free would be 30 minutes, then you can probably run over it up. All right? Fully hardened in an hour. And they say it can be sanded and polished and buffed after an hour. Okay? Look, that's recommendations. My experience, I would leave it after we used to bake out our vehicles. You can, but those solvents are still releasing out of that vehicle even after you bake it up to 30 days, right? So in the real top end, like showroom finish, custom paint jobs, they will leave it. They'll bake it off just for handling purposes, and then they'll leave it minimum 30 days, and then they'll face it back and polish it and all that sort of stuff. So, look, there's a little bit of what I like and what they like and what everyone else likes going on, but I'll try and keep it simple. Do you need to buff it in an hour after you put it on? Probably not. It's a model, right? You got all the time in the world. You just leave it a couple of days, let it dry out a bit, and then go for it, right? Because if you don't let it fully dry out, you're going to clog your sandpaper up. So I know I'm flying over that a little bit. All right. Now, safety reminder. 2K paint contains isocyanates. So should use respirator, spray in a well-ventilated area, preferably in a booth, like that one, to get those fumes out. Okay, so rubber gloves, face mask. When I was in the game, we wore full body suits, full oxygen masks. So hopefully I haven't killed too many brain cells. But yeah, so it is a dangerous, nasty. Make sure you read your safety data sheets when you get this. All right, that's pretty important. That's a good takeaway, right? In the modern world of today, where we're all a bit conscious about our health, you need to take some precautions. All right. Now you can buy disposable masks. That'll take out will take out the isocyanates, or you can buy respirators, and you can get them at your hardware store. Just make sure you put the right cartridge in. You don't want a dust cartridge when you're spraying isocyanates. All right, so that's just flying over the top. Always safety first. Read those data sheets and follow them, because that's what they're there for. They're there to help. All right. Now, what else can we talk about? That's about really it, I reckon. We've got some stuff here. Let's make some up. What do you reckon? I reckon we can. Right. Now, this stuff goes off about 30 minutes, 35 minutes, she'll start curing. So once you make it up, don't wander off. Go and have a smoko and come back, and then she's all over dead rover. What we used to do, or what I used to do when I was painting, I'd only make enough for a pass. Okay, so when I say a pass, that could be one panel or a full car. I would just make enough, and then before I made the second pass, or particularly maybe not so much on panels, I would probably make enough to do the panels, right, to give it its coating. But on full resprays, I would just make enough to get over one coat. And then I'd let it sit for 10 minutes, sometimes a bit longer, and then I'd make up another batch, all right? So critical, stir it up, okay? It's pretty important, all right? You gotta stir up that 2K, right? Just because it's clear, you gotta stir it up. So I'll come back after I've given that a shake, and we'll crack on. Okay, I took the liberty of, where's Pointer? There's Pointer. I took the liberty of getting 20 ml in my squeeze bottle. I like to use squeeze bottles made up with a little ball bearing in there, and I can shake it up and mix it up and then pour it straight into my airbrush. They're really good. They're a pain in the butt to clean, but they're really good. Yeah, so I've got 20 ml, so 4-to-1 ratio. That would mean we need 5 ml hardener. Okay, so we'll put that in just to show you. Little tip. Manufacturers of the hobby paint should have their hardener lid in a different color, in my opinion. So because you've got hardener under here, right? And then if you mix up your lids, you're going to get some paint going off, okay? So always keep your lids separate. Hot tip, all right? Hardener, yep, or part B. I call it hardener. 5 ml. So this goes up to 3 ml. So let's see what we get. So there's 2. There's 4, and we'll just go a little bit more. There's your 5. Now, if you're a little bit out, that's not gonna, if you're only a little bit out. Right, now, thinner. Let me go and get another pipette. Geez, I don't know about you guys, but I hate using these things. All right, they're a pain in my ass. So a little bit of thinner, all right. So because we're going the 4:1, we only want 1.25 mil. Oh, my air compressor just went off. You know what that means? If your air compressor goes off, it means you've got a slow leak somewhere, and it won't be the air compressor. It's it's probably because I got my guns are my airbrushes are unplugged. So yeah, anyway, I digress. Why 1.25? So 1.25. So we want about that. 125, and just a bees willy more. Okay. Mix it up. All right. There you go. It's ready to paint. All right. So I'll let that sit. Let it fester, as I say. And that's better. I'll let it fester, and then we'll crack on in the booth, and we'll get some painting done. So there's a quick little how-to on how to use 2K Clear. If you've got any questions, because I did fly over it, if you've got any technical questions or just general questions, shoot me a comment below, and I will endeavour to, I will answer them. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next how-to. Cheers.